Hi, my name is Mitja Plos and I'm from the University of Ljubljana. In this video, put together with the help of my colleagues, I will try to explain how we measure the characteristics of reclaimed timber. These were later used for visual grading. All the work was done within the In Future Wood project that was supported under the Aranet Forest Value Call. To know whether we have boards, planks or beams, we need to measure the nominal dimensions, the width, the height or thickness, and the length of each piece. We measure the cross sections at three locations: start, middle, and end. When dealing with reclaimed timber, we often have parts with a reduced cross section due to notches, rot, and similar abnormalities. The ends might also not always be cut perpendicular. That's why we also measure the minimal dimensions that represent the longest piece of timber you can get with an unchanging cross-section. We also took into account the reduction due to planing. Unlike with new timber, in reclaimed timber the presence of nails is expected. These present additional labor for removal before and additional cost during the reprocessing. On top of that, if they are in a cluster or if they are big, they might also present a defect in terms of mechanical properties. All the nails were counted and the longitudinal position from the start of the piece was measured. This was done on all four sides of the specimen. Next, we also measured the knots with a diameter of 10 millimeters or bigger. We measured the minimal and the maximal diameter, as well as the diameter of the knot perpendicular to the length of the board. To be able to also calculate knot area ratios for clusters, we also measured the location from the start of the piece and position from the edge of the surface. Again, this was done on all sides of the specimen. After the knots, we measured the resin and bark pockets. We measured their width, length, and location from the start of the specimen. The maximum slope of grain was measured 0.5 meters from the end and the start. In the middle part of the specimen, the maximum global 1 meter slope was measured. In addition, the maximum local slope of grain of 10 to 20 centimeters was measured in the middle part. The measurements were recorded for the radial and tangential surfaces separately. The ring width was measured on both the start and the end of the specimen. The average ring width was estimated by counting the number of rings along a line and dividing the length of the line with the number of rings. The line started 25 millimeters from the pith and ended at the furthest ear ring. The pith position was measured on both ends of the specimen. This was measured from the origin of the cross-section coordinate system as seen in the drawing. Next, we counted the fissures at the ends of the specimen. We counted the star and ring shakes separately. After, we measured the fissures on the faces of the specimen. In this case, we measured the maximal depth, the beginning and the end of the fissures. Again, this was done on all four surfaces of the specimen. We measured the missing cross-section due to weighing. This was done by adding all the missing widths and thicknesses of a cross-section where this effect was at a maximum. The entire length of weighing was measured by recording the beginning and the end location of the weighing from the start of the specimen. When we measure reclaimed timber, we must consider the missing cross-sections, which are mostly due to mechanical damage. This could be notches, holes from bolts, and similar. In this case, we measure the maximum depth of the damage, its maximum width, the beginning and end location from the start of the specimen. As with new timber, we usually want our reclaimed timber to be straight. That's why we measure the twist of the specimen. This was measured in millimeters on a 2-meter length. The same was done for the bow and crook effect, with the help of a 2-meter long piece of aluminium. We also measured the cup in millimeters per width. Next, we measured the rot. Since it has similar effect, we measured it in the same way as mechanical damage. With reclaimed timber, it is quite common to have water damage. Since this is hard to measure, we decided to go with a subjective approach, where the assessor would estimate the extent of the damage with a number from 1 to 3, where 3 meant severe damage. The damage due to insects was estimated by counting the average number of holes on a 2 by 5 centimeter area and describing the extent in terms of location. The diameter of the hole was also recorded. And now for something completely different. What follows is a short demonstration of a visual grader and his lovely assistant at work in their natural habitat.
Дивіться, попав.